everyone, and welcome to day 2 of my Star Wars marathon, and I've got your Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones movie review. 10 years after the events of Episode 1, a series of other events which ultimately lead to the start of the Clone Wars has new threats that maybe the Jedi can't stop. As far as the story goes, the two Jedi try to stop someone from killing Padme Amidala and track this person down before they are ultimately killed by a bounty hunter, which there's one bounty hunter that comes to mind, and Obi-Wan must discover their identity as well as the creation of the clone troopers. This is a movie that I feel like obviously doesn't have as much positive reception, unlike maybe the first movie, but I feel like it's still one of those sort of iffy type movies to watch, and I would still be willing to give it a chance, obviously, because it's a decently crafted movie, even though there are some flaws, which I'll get into later. As far as the casting goes, you've got Hayden Christensen, who is now portraying a much older Anakin Skywalker, and obviously there are definitely more things that he has to deal with in this movie, not only having to become a full-fledged Jedi and have his lightsaber and whatnot, but then he's also starting to get more of an attraction to Padme and having to mostly deal with other Jedi and trying to prove himself once again. And you've got Ewan McGregor, who, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but he kind of looks like a galactic Jesus. I think he still is a pretty awesome character, and I love the more scenes that he has in this movie. But then you have the return of Natalie Portman, who plays a much more matured Padme, who is not the current queen. This relationship that she's starting to get with Anakin Skywalker, it could get a little bit serious because we all know what goes down the end. I think she's also a pretty important character because somebody wants to kill her even more. Then you have to deal with Ian McDiarmid, who, by the way, I forgot to mention from the first movie, who plays Chancellor Palpatine, and he's got some things up his sleeve. He just gets pretty intense in this movie. Another character I forgot to mention was Samuel L. Jackson playing Mace Windu, who I still think is a pretty badass character, considering he's like the token black guy of the Star Wars prequels, unlike Lando Calrissian from the original Star Wars trilogy. And I think he's also pretty amazing in this movie, even though his character is pretty downplayed. You've got Christopher Lee, who is another character who plays Count Dooku, and he has some pretty awesome scenes being some kind of Sith Lord of sorts, and he's just, he plays a pretty good evil villainous character. The things that I did like about this movie, obviously, compared to the first Star Wars movie, this has a much darker tone, which I actually liked because there's a lot of dark themes. It gets the middle film treatment as far as the content is concerned, so you kind of get that feeling like we kind of see how this is sort of all connecting. Some of the special effects were pretty cool. There's one scene with Anakin on a speeder, and then you see like the sunset in the background. I thought that was a really nice shot in the movie. And then of course you have the gladiator style battle between the clone troopers and these droids, so I thought that was really cool, and then have the Jedi in the mix. And of course the ending has to be the icing on the cake, and I'm not going to spoil that, but it was just really beautifully shot, along with the score. But unfortunately, things that I didn't really like about this movie, obviously I felt like the quality of the storytelling was kind of weak in a way, and I couldn't really get into this movie as much because I feel like there was just not as much going on that I felt to be memorable, and there were just some areas of poor quality effects, like seeing those clone troopers up close. They kind of disappointed me because I was hoping, like, okay, now I can't tell the difference between who's an actual actor compared to what's CG. Overall, I would say that Star Wars Attack of the Clones was a decent movie, but I feel like compared to the first movie, it still wasn't as great. So I would still recommend it because, you know, I definitely would love people to be able to continue watching the series. So I would give this 3 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back up every week for a Child Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And may the Force be with you.